And we're live.
We are live. Hello, everybody of WyoNation. Welcome to the very first episode of the WyoNation Roundup. I am Chad Smith, and as you can see here, my sidekick and my leader, which is kind of hard, right, to be a sidekick and a leader. But it is Mr. Brad Reed. How the hell you doing, Brad?
Oh, ready for college football season. Looks like we're only about 6 days away now. So
we are. And we had a little, I saw people refer to it as an appetizer. Week 0 is pretty bad. It's pretty hard to get into unless your team is playing. I tried to watch some games, but just didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I caught a little bit of the Notre Dame Navy game, and it was fairly unappetizing by the time I turned it on. Then got a little bit into, what game was it? I think it was Louisiana Tech. Got into that game for a little bit.
I think that was like the lone primetime game, right? Was Louisiana Tech.
And Hawaii didn't get blown out by Vanderbilt this year, so congrats to them.
Good job. Yes, representing the Mountain West well.
Yeah,
maybe.
San Diego State had a close win, it looked like, too. So
correct. Between a sparse crowd at, what is this name of this place? Snapdragon Stadium or something?
Yeah, they complete with their quarterback throwing the football into the referee's head. So
Okay, I
that
missed
was
that.
nice.
So welcome to this new platform. We should be streaming if this is working on, right? We got both of our Twitter accounts. So you can see it here, WyoNation.com and at WyoNation blog, as well as on our YouTube channel.
It's
So if
really
you are
unfortunate
out
we're still
there in
connecting
the
people to our
stream,
faces.
sorry, I talked over you. What was that?
Oh, I was going to say it's really unfortunate we're forcing people to look at our faces this
Yes.
year.
We have faces for radio,
Yeah,
or maybe not even faces for radio, which is pretty terrifying.
yeah.
But we are here nonetheless. If you are on a platform, say hello. We can see the chat here. I have seen nothing coming in. So hopefully this is working. If not, it's being recorded and we'll upload it later. But hopefully the technology is working. We both work in the IT sector, so we should be able to figure this out, right?
Yeah, sure.
Sure, maybe, possibly. So we'll see. All right, so the topic for today is kind of at a big picture, looking at this Wyoming football team in 2023 and really looking realistically what really is the ceiling and the floor for this football team with the players they return, in a realistic sense, right? You can't say, hey, the ceiling's 12-0 because there's 12 games on the schedule, right?
And also we play Texas.
Yes. And Texas Tech, which we play this Saturday.
We do.
So before we do that, let's talk about some of these accolades that have been rolling in.
Oh, yeah.
On some preseason watch lists, Mr. Brad.
Yeah, so I was looking at that a little bit ago. And, according to the Mountain West media, the Cowboys are picked 6th in the league this year.
Correct. Yes.
Just ahead of the Sheep and right behind San Jose State, with Boise State winning it all, apparently, allegedly.
And that was a media poll?
Yeah, that was the media poll released back in July.
Okay. And do they still do a coaches poll, or is that not a thing anymore?
I didn't look at the coaches poll. I just assume the coaches don't vote in it, so probably not much need to.
That is true.
One player on the offensive side of the ball for preseason all conference, and that's Frank Crum.
There we go.
Long-term starter, so not surprising.
From Laramie, if I remember correctly.
Yep. Defensive side of the ball, they got Jordan Bertignoli and Devon Harris and Easton Gibbs on the first team. So Easton Gibbs, no surprise, supposed to be Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year. So some pretty big hype to live up to for him.
Yes, he had that honor.
Then no surprise here, John Hoyland, Kicker of the Year, or first team all conference kicker.
Hashtag Red Shoe Man.
Red Shoe Man. So yeah, that's what the media thinks the Cowboys will be up to this year.
Okay. And I have some of these other national watch lists here. So let me just bring this up on my phone if I could get to the right place. Preseason honors, right? So again, you mentioned Hoyland. He has gathered first team All-American from the Sporting News.
Yeah.
Second team All-American from the AP. Pretty big. I don't think the last time we've had a preseason All-American, it's been a while.
Well, we had a postseason with Cooper Roth. He finished third team All-American, I think, at the end of the season. So
maybe. Yeah. Other ones, Easton Gibbs.
Yep.
He's on the Bednarik Award, which is for outstanding defensive player. He's also on the Butkus, and then he's on my favorite, the Bronco Nagurski, which is for the best defensive player all around. So he's on the 3 major defensive lists.
Yeah, that's not surprising. Yeah, he's kind of expected at this point to kind of be the next Logan Wilson, as it were. And I think we'd be very fortunate to have anyone with that kind of success again. So that'd be fun. Yeah,
so those are some of the preseason awards that Wyoming is in the mix for. And to be honest, right, for Wyoming to reach their goals this year, all those players are going to have to play to that level, I think is safe to say.
Yeah, I would say the season, just kind of getting off to the start it's going to get to, I think the defense is going to have to be probably extra on their toes because it's hard to say what we're going to expect out of the offense this year given our history of that. So
let's talk about that here.
Keeping Texas Tech and Appalachian State, I fear, under control might be a challenge.
Sure, and we'll get to the schedule here soon. But Wyoming does return 17 starters, 10 of 11 on offense. Oh, no, sorry, not on offense. 10 of 11 on defense. And then 5 on offense, and then both your kicker and your punter return. Of course, Wyoming went 7-6 last year, finishing out their season with a loss in the Arizona Bowl to not the Ohio State University, but the Ohio University.
Do you think we were bad luck in being there?
Potentially, yes. Brad and I were there. We saw many of you there at the various get-togethers. It was a fun time.
I don't think we got enough into the Sonoran Dogs.
No, the answer is always no.
No, we didn't. Yeah,
we've never had enough.
Maybe that was the problem.
We needed a breakfast Sonoran dog. That'd be pretty good. So, all right, how about if I bring up here this schedule for everybody to see, and we will talk about the schedule. So let's get this technology working here. We will share this screen, and bam, there she is. So we'll just do a quick rundown. First, right, the non-conference portion of the schedule. Brad, you alluded to it. Fairly tough. Texas Tech at home, and then a break with Portland State coming in, and then at Texas, then Appalachian State comes into Laramie. So let's just take your quick thoughts on those 4 non-conference games.
Well, I think Texas Tech is going to prove to be problematic. Their offense scored a lot of points last year, so
they do.
I think for the Cowboys there to keep this game, within their grasp, they're going to need to really rely on, shortening this game. Get the running game moving in a positive direction, and hopefully, maybe the altitude. Well, I mean, Lubbock isn't, short altitude by any means. I think they're around 33,000 feet or so. But I think, if we can slow them down, a little bit and make them catch their breath, then I think we'll have a chance. Portland State, I'm usually pretty familiar with Portland State.
Big Sky member.
Big Sky member. Their head coach is kind of a kick. But I don't think Portland State's expected to do much of anything this year. Texas could prove to be problematic for the Cowboys. They're picked to be maybe the Big 10 winners, maybe second, or Big 12, excuse me, maybe second place, somewhere in there, behind Texas Tech, if I've read one poll correctly.
Sure, and Texas Tech, it should be noted, is I think they're
24th?
ranked in one poll and then receiving votes in the other.
Yeah, some at 24 in one of the polls.
Yeah, so they're a highly respected team. Obviously, still running that passing offense with a young head coach.
Yeah. Geez.
I'm just seeing something here, or maybe but I haven't seen this. It's listing the at Texas game as being on the Longhorn Network.
That's what it shows on your screen there.
Yeah, and I don't remember seeing that before, that it's Longhorn Network only, so I'm sure there will be a way to get that for us, like on ESPN3 or something if it's streaming out of market.
There are places to find college football games on the internet if you're willing to look for them.
Well, sure. But we'll have to do some digging on that to see.
It's almost as bad as being on the Pac-12 network.
Yes. That is very true. So, so looking at this non-conference schedule.
Got Appalachian State to close it out, so.
What was that?
You got Appalachian State to close out the non-conference.
No pushover.
No, they're supposed to be. I did a little bit of reading over the weekend, and I think the Mountaineers are expected to be a little bit down this year, but they're a pretty tough out usually.
Yeah,
They're a very skilled and very fast team.
it'll
So
be a good game. And I know even back in the spring, right, we had Appalachian State fans saying, "Hey, we're coming out to the game." They were making their plans, so it should be a pretty cool atmosphere. With I think they're going to have a pretty sizable traveling crowd just because of it's like the Battle of the Mountains, right?
yeah, they're based on my experience with having the local Montana team here playing against Appalachian a couple times. Their fan base is a lot of fun. I can tell you that much.
All right, so
Pretty good people.
again, I'm not sure if our technology is working, but if you're in the stream right now, say hello in the chat just to see if this dang thing is working. And if not, we'll have to work on it later. But so there's your non-conference schedule. And then the conference schedule, right, it's pretty straightforward. I guess we should note that this is this the last year of divisions or are divisions gone? I
I
think
believe divisions are gone.
divisions are gone, which is really bad news for Wyoming, right? Because now instead of having, I mean, it was bad in the first place, right? The road through to the conference title always went through Boise, but now even then, now you have to be better than Boise and somebody else to get to that title game. So I think it's going to be fairly difficult for Wyoming to get there, but you never know. That's why they play college football. The Mountain West always has a surprise or two. But right, the big ones are opening conference play at home against New Mexico, which is a pretty soft landing, even though in the past, right, we've kind of had some very disappointing losses to the Lobos. And then you're playing Fresno State. You're defending conference champions, but they lost a ton of players, including their quarterback. So we'll see what they do there. And then Air Force, right? So I like this conference because it's pretty much every game is fairly decent. So right off the bat there, New Mexico, Fresno State, Air Force, and then you got your bye week in mid to late October.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know, that game at Air Force, that one is always like super close. It seems like those two teams flip flop every year, regardless of where it's being played.
100%. There have been some great games throughout the years. Yeah, I can think of so many through all the years, right? I mean, I think there was a crazy game, right? People missing extra points to lose and win games. You missed field goals on the last play of the game. I mean, last minute interceptions for touchdowns, crazy stuff like that.
Yep.
All right, then we'll move up here. Then you really get into the home stretch here where we're at Boise, right? And right, the road to the Mountain West title goes through Boise. Wyoming has to play at Boise. And the bad news is Wyoming's only beaten Boise once in the entire history of the football program.
Ever.
Yes, ever. And that was, of course, the Josh Allen game where he just balled out.
Yep.
That was a fun night. I was there, as were many of you. So let's hope we have something like that, but on the road. To beat them in Boise would be truly monumental.
It would be, yeah. And, they're not breaking in a new quarterback, but they're their quarterback that took over in relief of Hank Bachmeier last year showed quite a bit of promise. So
yes,
that could be slightly challenging.
Yep, and then you're coming off Boise, kind of bad timing, I think. Then you're going on a short week the very next week to play Colorado State in the Border War and on a Friday night, which I
so dumb.
Hate.
Dumb.
Ridiculous, but really the university has no say. We've, like all schools, you sell your soul to the devil for some TV scrap money.
And in
the Mountain West,
Sports.
I don't think we make enough money for them to be able to tell us to do that, but I think it's a disservice to the players and the fans that this game is on a Friday, but the schedule is what the schedule is, so we'll have to see. Could you look up? I'd be interested to see. Let's pray to God that CSU doesn't have like a bye week the week before.
Yeah.
Could you do some on-air research, Mr. Brad? Tell me who Colorado State, the Sheep, are playing on October 28th. Or the week of, right? Because who knows? In this day and age, play Wednesday, Thursday.
They are at home against Air Force.
Okay, well, there we go. So they don't have an easy game the week before.
Yeah, they'll be chop blocked to death. So
yeah, they'll be battered and bruised. All right, so there's the CSU. And then here's a game that I know you and I were eyeballing this as a travel destination to go to the new stadium. How UNLV swung getting to play in this world-class stadium is beyond me.
Oh, I have bad news about that, by the way.
But good on them. What do you mean bad news? Well, I know you're already, as I said, we were planning on going, but you are going to Baton Rouge.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's fine. No, trust me, if there's one other place in this earth that is just as good or better to go see a football game than Las Vegas, it is Baton Rouge.
To be fair.
Which I have been several times to Death Valley. I just happen to know a lot of people who are alums of LSU. And
good friends to have.
It is, because even if you don't go to the game, the tailgating is better than the game. And the game is outstanding.
I'm legitimately worried about the tailgating.
The tailgating is next level. And the food.
Yeah, I'm worried.
And the friendliness of the people down there. They love everybody.
I just hope I love my liver enough to get to the game. So,
yeah. So Boise, CSU at UNLV, and then Hawaii comes to town, which is also another pretty entertaining most of the time, and a rivalry, a trophy game.
Ugliest trophy.
And I just seen that. I just noticed that one of our trophy games, the Utah State game, has dropped off the schedule. So that means we get to keep that rifle for probably at least 2 years here.
Yeah, two-year rotation, right?
2 or 3 years. So yeah, that rifle is ours. Eat it, Utah State. And then closing the season against Nevada, which I'm not really sure. What were you hearing about Nevada this year?
I have not heard a peep about Nevada.
They're kind of up and down, right?
That's where Dane Norvell's at, right?
I mean, Norvell got him up and then jumped ship.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Right, to CSU. He's the coach at CSU, Brad.
That's right. I don't know.
Yeah. I forget who they hired.
Oh, it's not Timmy Chang either, because he's back at Hawaii, so.
But yeah, so again, it's a road game, but winnable.
Ken Wilson.
That sounds really familiar. Defensive guy, I want to say. Was he at like Oklahoma or someplace like that?
It's a good question.
Yeah, look up his bio. The name sounds familiar. I should know.
He's pretty much been in Nevada his entire life.
Okay, then never mind.
He had a 5-year stint at Washington State and a 2-year stint at Oregon.
Okay.
Or 3-year stint at Oregon.
All right. Makes sense. So there is the schedule there. So we'll get rid of this. And we'll get back to our screen here. So let's just get your thoughts here. Let's start with the negativity. We'll get the negativity out of the way. Looking at that schedule, Brad, what do you really think the floor is for this football team, considering what they're returning and how that schedule is looking?
You know, being optimistic, I think we can split the out of conference. I just don't know if it's going to be split with beating Texas Tech or Appalachian State.
Yeah, you have to win one of those two, no doubt.
Yeah, that's going to be one of those is going to be a must win for sure. So absolutely there. I think it's a pretty good chance of beating New Mexico, pretty good chance of beating Fresno. Air Force probably be a toss-up. Boise is going to be difficult. The Sheep there's no reason to think that we wouldn't beat the Sheep at this point, but it's a rivalry game, so who knows? UNLV, I can't imagine that wouldn't be a win, but we've traditionally played them like crap, so.
Had some crazy games against them, too.
Yeah, Hawaii has proven to have our number, and they don't seem to care one way or the other if they're playing in Laramie in November or not, so.
No, they actually played pretty dang well.
They played really well last time they played in Laramie in November.
Yeah.
Nevada, I just don't know enough about them to make an intelligent guess one way or the other. I'm guessing they're probably not going to be good. If I had a guess. Nevada. Well, actually, Nevada's picked second to last in the league so if you're looking at the media poll, 4 of the teams on Wyoming's schedule are 9, 10, 11, and 12.
Okay.
So
it's good.
And the sheep at 7. So that seems to be encouraging that, maybe we could have 5 wins out of that.
Okay.
Tack on a 6th win against Portland State. And I'm kind of thinking that 6-6 should probably be the floor. But I kind of also think that 6-6 might also be the ceiling.
Sure.
I mean, it's too early to tell like what's going to happen with the offense. I mean, that's going to be the big thing, right? Is being able to move the football through the air.
It's not even the elephant in the room right now.
Yeah,
it's the herd of elephants in the room.
Yeah. So being able to effectively move the football is going to be,
Yeah. So here, I got some numbers here.
Oh, good. You always do.
Yeah. Well, these are just basic. I haven't done any analytics yet because I don't hate myself. And people are sick of seeing my analytics that show the stuff. But anyway, offense.
There are some out there that wish you would be nice.
Well, I know, but I'm just reporting the facts. So Wyoming's offense last year, 8th in the conference in points at 21.2 points a game. 3rd in the conference in the rushing game, right? So we know that's one thing. Come rain or shine, hell or high water, Wyoming football is going to be a productive run team.
Yep.
So 3rd in the conference, 181 rushing yards, but the problem is passing. Last year, 10th, 132 yards per game, which was the worst passing output season since the 2018 season, where we averaged 131 yards per game.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, again, the question is the offense, right? And can they find the balance? And that's all people are asking for is balance. But I find it hilarious. Every time someone asks Craig Bohl about it, he goes on this crazy thing like, well, they want us to throw the ball 50 times a game? I'm like, no, literally nobody is asking for that, Craig. They just want you to throw maybe 20 to 25 passes a game, complete half of them, and you're probably going to do pretty damn well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, if we threw it 50 times a game, that'd be kind of fun, but never going to happen. But,
no, and nobody wants that to happen. Not with the way that we built this team and this program.
I'd say I would enjoy it. But.
Okay, you would. You're the one guy you'll say, I'll raise my hand.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, yes, Craig, I do. I want air raid.
Yeah. Yes, if we could hire, one of these air raid guys, isn't one of these Texas Tech quarterbacks unemployed or something? Maybe we can talk to them or something.
Yeah. Get them to transfer at the end of the year or something. Defensively, here's our numbers. Again, so Wyoming returns 10 of 11 starters on a defense that last year was 6th in the league, gave up 23.9 points a game, was 6th in rush defense at 153 yards a game, and then was 8th in passing at 217 a game. So those are all pretty, right? Mid-conference pack, not dominant, but with 10 of 11 starters coming back, you could really see a big step forward from this defensive unit.
Mm-hmm. Which they're already very good, so.
Yes. And they've been under so much pressure all these years.
Mm-hmm.
It is crazy how the mental fortitude, I think, of these players on defense, because they know if they have even just a fairly bad game, or if maybe we give up, in the high 20s, our chances of winning is very low. And so that's the type of pressure that they've been playing under for years now, and they keep producing. And that's when we want to talk about the ceiling and the floor, my worst case scenario would be God forbid if we have a season where the defense actually just, for whatever reason, doesn't play well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think that's going to happen this year because of the experience we have coming back.
And our defensive coordinator is probably quite a bit above average.
Yes, but if the bottom ever falls out of the defense, you're looking at a 2-10 season someday here if we don't figure out the offense. So, I mean, I was really concerned about it a couple years ago when Savell came in because, right, we had no idea what he was going to do, but he has upheld the tradition and
Yep.
has done a really good job of integrating, his system with Craig Bull's system, and the defenses, right, been as good as there is in the Mountain West.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So there we go there.
And I was thinking about this earlier when I was out with the dog. I was like, this even, the depth chart right now for running back isn't great because, we've got Harrison Whaley that's out. Then
The injuries, DQ
uh,
James.
DQ James is out for a little bit. So I was thinking about it. I was like, but does it matter? Like, it seems to me that this is, if you're a running back in this offense, it seems to be like pretty plug and play. Like,
Sure.
next man up seems to be a quite accurate mantra of this. And I don't think it really matters who you plug in there because I think they're still going to be very successful running the football.
Correct.
So I don't worry about that so much.
Yeah.
Even with the injuries, I think it's still going to be okay.
Yeah, we'll see. I forget the name of the new guy in the depth chart, but he's literally plucked from the middle of nowhere. He's a JUCO guy that they added in like July, like a late JUCO ad.
So the depth chart right now shows Jamari Farrell. He's a junior.
That's the guy.
DQ James, sophomore, and Sam Scott, a sophomore.
Yeah. So Jamari Farrell, like literally just came to Laramie in July.
Wow.
And won the starting running back job. Now, from everything we hear, the coaches and the little the media does get to see in terms of practices. Actually, I don't know if they get to see any at all.
The rule used to be they could see the first 30 minutes, which is basically like stretching.
Yeah.
Which would probably give the media time enough to figure out who is and isn't at practice before they kicked them out. And
so
I don't know if it's the same case this year, but that's what it's been in the past.
But yeah, I mean, from everything I've heard, he's a dynamic runner, and he must be, right? If he's number one on our depth chart.
Yeah, and I would expect that him and DQ will probably split some carries and
we'll do just fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, DQ,
Northern
you
Illinois
put him into the game and he's just a shot of cocaine right in the arm. Like,
yeah. And when the Northern Illinois transfer gets in,
Whaley, yeah,
it's going to be good. He's a he's a solid back.
Yeah, hopefully he's back a little bit sooner than predicted. But I don't know if we're running the ball effectively. He doesn't need to come back as fast, I guess.
Yeah, that's going to be the thing, right? Is can we establish a running game with a running back who hasn't done it at this level, and then with some guys who are injured or coming off injury?
Mm-hmm.
That will be the question. And then just if you can mix in any semblance of a passing game, it'd be so huge.
Yeah. So looking right now, Brett McMurphy out there at the Action Network, he's got his bowl predictions that he released today, and currently he has Wyoming playing UT San Antonio in the New Mexico Bowl.
Okay.
So New Mexico Bowl is usually where your 6 and 16 goes. So
sure, right. And so you kind of mentioned like the ceiling and the floor. You could make the argument that 6 and 6, it's in that window, like 6 and 6, 7 and 5. It might be like the same thing with the way this team currently operates, for better or worse, right? I mean, I'm critical of the offense because, right, I've seen you have to be able to score points to win football games. Now, to come here and tell me for Craig Bull to say that it can't be done when I've seen Joe Tiller do it, and guess what? And I've had this conversation with people who were on that team back then and who were in the program. Joe Tiller didn't have half or 10% of the facilities that they have now. And he found a way to. He had none. Yeah, the weight room was literally underneath the stadium.
Nice.
West Stadium used to be the weight room, like in the concourse.
Perfect.
That's where they used to lift weights. Now we have a $30-50 million building.
Pretty nice. Nice.
Very nice. So that's where I'm coming from. So I know people like to, label me as a bad guy because I point this stuff out. But again, I'm only holding Craig Bull to what he says. I don't think these things, but when Craig Bowl comes out year after year and says, we're going to improve the passing game and, well, we got to put some pelts on the wall and, oh, we're going to we got to win a Mountain West title. Okay. That's all fine and dandy. But in year 10, after hearing this for the past 5 years, I'm just like, I block it out because it's not serious talk to me because I've heard this every offseason is the same. And that's where I come down as being negative. I mean, I hope it changes, but again, the track record's not looking good.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Mountain West champion goes to the LA Bowl, right?
I mean, we have a tie-in if the team is good enough. I don't know what
he's Brett McMurphy's got Boise State headed to the LA Bowl against UCLA.
Sure.
But then he's also got the Sheep in a bowl game, so that's kind of funny.
Okay.
At the Frisco Bowl.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know where that's coming from.
Fresno in the Armed Forces Bowl, Air Force in the Potato Bowl, San Jose State in the whatever the hell the Ventures Bowl is.
The Ventures Bowl. Yeah, there's some new ones. I think they've renamed a lot of them.
Yeah. The Hawaii Bowl, he's got UNLV.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like checking his weekly projections. I mean, it's fun.
San Diego State to the Arizona Bowl. So
fun entertainment.
They get the Barstool Bowl, according to this. Then also he's got Appalachia State being in a bowl game too. So
okay. Sure. Which makes perfect sense, right?
Yep. Should be a bowl team.
Okay, so let's look at this. Let's just say somehow, right, Peasley steps up and makes huge improvements, which is possible. It could happen. I mean, I haven't seen anything to think that it would because our quarterbacks under Bowl have never really improved, right? Even Josh Allen had a stellar year and then had a terrible senior year. And there were people thinking that because of that, he shouldn't even been a first-round pick. People, right? The Bills were getting lambasted by some people, not a lot, but some, because, well, Josh Allen couldn't even throw the ball at Wyoming. So, but we'll put that aside and say, all right, it comes together. Peasley steps up. He plays like he did in the first half of the year last year, which was very good. Supposedly, he's added some weight. He's got zip on his throws. He's running faster.
I like what he brings to the offense with his feet.
Yeah, no, you have to have a running quarterback.
Yeah, and I think he's very good at it.
Yes, so 100%, I agree. So he's got the leg talent to be able to make plays with his legs and extend plays there. But we just need to see that consistency. So let's say it happens. So let's say, I mean, I don't think we could say that we can go 3-1 in non-conference, right? That'd be like way too pie in the sky. But go 2-2, right? Then you beat New Mexico and you beat Fresno at home. Okay, well, now you're 4-2 going into at Air Force, which is a toss-up game, right? So let's just say we lose it. It's a toss-up game. You lose. It's 4-3. You go to Boise, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can't look at anybody with a straight face and say, we're going into Boise and winning for the first time ever.
They are what they are.
Right? So that knocks you down to 4-4, which is still fine. And then you got your last 4 are all winnable games. CSU at home, at UNLV, Hawaii at home, at Nevada. Maybe you go 3-1. So, see, we just kind of did this exercise, and that gets us to 7 wins. And that's playing really well, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the top half of this, the top end of the schedule is top end. The bottom is very bottom. So, yeah, I mean, beating Texas is, a team like that is going to be an extremely tall task.
Even though they're not very good, per se, right? I mean, they're not your father's Texas.
No.
But they have a wide receiver out here who's pretty good. If he's back and healthy. Is he healthy? Check out the old Texas depth chart there, Brad. Some live on their research.
Look at the guy on the Joe Rogan show that just Google things all episode long.
Yeah. We need to hire someone to do that. And we can pay them what? Probably about close to nothing.
What's Connor doing?
Yeah. On-air research. While he's doing that, let me look at some of my notes here. And let's see if there's anything. Oh, here we go. This is some good stuff that I did want to get to. Craig Bowl and season openers. All right. Craig Bowl is 7-2 in home openers. Okay, not season openers. This is home openers. 7-2 in home openers. With the only losses being North Dakota in 2015 and Washington State in 2018. Now, this is basically, right, this is the last year of the Power 5 with all the chaos that's been going on. So Wyoming is actually 1-1 against the Power 5 under Craig Bowl in home openers, right? With the Missouri win in 2019. And then that Washington State loss that we just talked about. So this will be the third game Wyoming has played a home opener against a Power 5 school.
Huh. Apparently, Isaiah Nayar has been named to the preseason watch list for the Reese's Senior Bowl.
Okay, makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
but we don't have a depth chart for Texas out.
I'm looking.
Okay. Oh, what else can I gather from this press release? Again, Red Shoe Man.
If you're a gambling degenerate, there's the Cowboys are 14-point underdogs.
Yes, I was going to get to that too. So that is the line on the game, 14.
Yep. With over under a 51.5.
51.5. Ooh, that's a good number, man.
Yeah, that seems.
Will Texas Tech get in the 30s and us in the 20s? Or maybe Texas Tech in the 40s and us in the teens? That's a tough one. I'd stay away from that. I would stay away from that.
So it looks like Nayor is third on the depth chart at the Z position.
Third? Holy crap. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
With Quinn Ewers set to start.
Interesting.
Not Arch Manning.
Okay. Well, right. It shows you the grass isn't always greener, I guess. You go from a number one target at a school to third string. But the pay's a lot better.
That's true.
Pay. At Texas, get paid a lot more to not play, I guess.
That is very true.
So, yeah, no, that was a really good exercise we just did. I think
congrats to us.
The ceiling and the floor, there's really not that much difference until we see something fundamentally change. Running the ball and playing good defense will give you a solid base.
Mm-hmm.
But until you can make plays and score points at a high level, if we had an offense that scored 30 points a game, it'd be fun for us and for everybody else out there. Mm-hmm. But this would be a 9-3 football team.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't have to worry about keeping up with Texas Tech, that's for sure.
But I don't think I could break down my own numbers. I don't think we've ever reached 30. I think the highest we gotten was like 28.
I don't know if anybody's done the research on this, but so, the home opener is Saturday night, 5:30 kickoff in Laramie, but it's also the primetime game on CBS. So that's kind of rad.
Sure. Yeah.
Has that ever happened before?
Game. Probably hasn't happened on network TV for sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure we could look at I bet the game notes probably have some notes.
Yeah, maybe.
Because about the only other time that would have happened where like network TV was in Laramie was back in the old, like in the 90s, right? I can remember a handful of times when we were on like ABC, but even that was like regional. I think this CBS is a national game.
I believe so.
Yeah. So that's crazy. Even in ABC, those were regional games where, Wyoming and the West Coast would get them. I remember, I think San Diego State came in one year and we played a 2:30 kickoff that was on ABC. A couple BYU games, maybe like ESPN and stuff like that back in the day. But that's cable. But network TV, primetime game, Eastern time, unheard of.
Yeah, crazy.
So hopefully, right, it's going to be a good, I guess, a good advertisement for the university and the state. Let's hope that they show up. And I think 14's about right. I think they'll probably hang in there. The good news is in most teams at this point, the defense is usually ahead of the offense.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
it's going to be a big test because it's Texas Tech. But we have a good defense. We'll be at home. We could probably cover, would be my guess. They'll probably play them tough. Oh,
Yep.
here's the thing I wanted to talk about. You were talking about time of possession.
Yes.
And here is a big thing that I think I forgot about. And I didn't think it was going to be that big of an impact. But on the few week 0 games I did watch, the games were being played quite a bit faster than in the past.
Correct.
Because of the new time change in the running of the clock. The clock does not stop on first downs. That is huge for Wyoming in the way we play. To really shorten games. Clock doesn't stop anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Used to stop on every first down, which I never really understood. But now I think it only stops under 2 minutes of each half. I think is the rule. But otherwise, first down, clock keeps running, and it's trimming off quite a bit of time off games.
Yeah, I think I saw it went from average 67 plays to 63 plays or something like that. Offensive plays.
Sure.
This last week.
Yeah, the plays go down, but I mean, it makes a bigger dent in the clock because 13 first downs is about average for a decent team. So if you got two teams getting 13 first downs, that's 26 times the clock's not stopping.
Mm-hmm.
And that adds up to a good 10, 15 seconds, maybe even 20 seconds a pop.
At least, yeah.
To really shorten games. And so we'll have to monitor that rule change here for Wyoming because in the way we want to control the ball and run the ball, it could be really big. It could come into play in a lot of these games.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'll do some more digging maybe on Twitter this week. See what they said from just week 0. How much average plays and then game time, how much that's dropped.
I can assure you there's some nerds out there that have done this research.
Oh, they have. They have for sure. So, all right. Well, no, this has been a good conversation. I just want to get out there what we hope to do with this. I hope to use this as our platform, mainly me, because I know Mr. Brad will make it when he can, when he's not cheering on the Grizzlies.
Saturdays are busy.
Yep, but when I can, I hope to use this as either, probably not both, but maybe for big games, both as a pregame and a post-game gathering place for everybody. So post-games for sure, I'll try to hop on and we can talk about stuff. And now we got the screen sharing. We can look at highlights. We can look at stats.
Yeah, and we've talked about too, having other guys kind of come jump on and co-host with us a little bit. Exactly. They're feeling up to it. And yeah, we would definitely like to get back into a few interviews. We've done some interviews in the past that we've really enjoyed doing.
Yeah, interviews. Yep. Former players, former coaches. We've got a good relationships with people, a nice Rolodex. So I think we can make that happen for sure. Midweek.
We can redo one interview we've done in the past, maybe.
No, I don't think we want to talk to him. I think we're good.
You burned that bridge.
I think we're good. But yeah, so that's what we hope to use this for. We're excited for the season. We're excited for this platform. And we'll see what happens Saturday. No idea. But it will be
excuse not to watch Saturday. It's on TV everywhere you look. Yeah, and I think I saw something from the athletic department today. They think that there's only 3,500-ish seats left, so they're expecting a sellout on Saturday.
Correct. Yes, we forgot to mention that.
And I believe they're striping out the war.
It is.
So
if you're going to the game,
brown and or gold shirt
make sure you look at the chart so you know what color your section is.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be the guy wearing the wrong color. Have you done that before?
I have.
Okay. I've never participated in a stripe out, so
I haven't either.
Yeah. You just said that you wore the wrong shirt.
Well, they have they've up here in Missoula, they've done whiteouts for games before, and I'm not a white shirt wearing person,
Sure.
and so I just wear maroon and or black.
Okay,
So
I gotcha. That's
yeah,
reasonable. Yeah, white's not a good color on some people.
it's not a good color on me for sure.
So, all right. Well, thank you, everybody. Unless you have any final thoughts, Brad, I think we'll wrap up for tonight.
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. You will be able to catch me post game for Texas Tech. Maybe we'll do a pregame, but I doubt it with all the other football going on. But post game for sure. I'll get that scheduled. You'll see it on all the WyoNation comms. I will be here, and we will talk about the Red Raiders versus the Cowboys after the game on Saturday night. Thank you for joining us, everybody, and we will talk soon.